You just touched my hand.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to hurt you. Hey guys, how are y'all? LG here with my special guest.
Hi, Billy.
Hi, I'm Skylar. My sobriety date is 6/26/21. My special guest.
My name's Billy, and my sobriety date is 6/21. 21.
It is not. What is it?
6/19/21. That got me nervous with these cameras.
Smile for your mugshot, brother. Okay.
He's already dressed like he's like on a talk show. Like he's got boots. He is so nervous. Like he is just did up. Like
Well.
He's taking it seriously.
Okay, so I appreciate you taking it seriously. But we're.
A lot more serious than me. I still got my work shirt on.
Okay, y'all. So we wanted some guests on, so we thought that we would start it off by bringing our Billies on here because they can share in all of the drama that that is the sisters and all of that. They don't know what they're doing either, so it's really okay. Y'all had a busy weekend.
We did. We did. It was very, very busy but fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
So y'all had a bake sale, garage sale, raising money for your club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You surpassed your goal.
I did.
It's because you're tough.
Because of my cake, wasn't
It was the cake. Definitely was the cake.
Yeah. So you have him because Billy has this cake that is to die for, and it's like I don't know it's something it's heaven and Hershey's and sugar, like it's just all of those things, and so I'm watching this be created. I'm smelling it. He even involved me. I had to like chop up the candy bars, and so it's like one of my favorite things in the world, and I'm just sitting there watching it come together, and then your Billy comes to the house, and then I watch it just walk out the door. And I'm like, bye. I'm like, bye. And so someone enjoyed. It was great. What does that even mean?
I got half of it.
Look at that. Do you see this? This is the life we live.
Why am I so fat?
That was a scam.
Why am I so fat?
Scam. Yeah, all right.
It didn't make it that far.
She says, "Why am I so fat? Why am I so?" Stop it, fat as a man. So y'all had a good time.
We did. We had a great time. It was fun. And then of course I got more sun.
Exhausting, feel it today, but fun.
Billy says I'm really feeling
Billy
my
says,
age.
He says, but it was fun. Like I don't know what we're doing. Lisa, I see you watching. You hear him? He's just like, and it was fun. Like
it's gonna be like.
need the personality to come out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so y'all have different. We've talked about this before. Y'all have different sobriety dates because you weren't quite ready to give it up yet,
Right.
and he was ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so y'all have done addiction together
Yeah.
for as long as y'all been together.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I was never sober. So technically, like, this was the first year that he's ever saw me sober. Because I was not sober when we met. And he was, like, semi-sober. He was, alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 2 years into that,
You got him on the hard stuff.
he's grown. I'm just kidding.
That was your choice, brother.
I take full responsibility.
So, brother-in-law, in that, like, what was that like?
In the beginning, it was, I didn't feel anything wrong with it, because, as a child growing up, I was like an adrenaline junkie, and whatever could keep me going, as like in the fast lane, I loved it. It cost me a lot of years being locked up, and I said when I got out that I was ready to change my life, and you know, I started doing all right, but I wouldn't put the alcohol down. And it's like Skylar said, you know, I was introduced to methamphetamines, and I felt like deep down that, you know, I don't have to go rob people. I don't have to go do all
Because you
the-
were doing that,
right.
and that gave you a high.
Yes, it was just adrenaline that was kicking in. Like, you know, it's hard to explain it, but
Well, whenever I went and I listened to your story, they've each done their testimony where they've talked for an hour sharing their story, and I've been able to sit in on that. And the things you were saying, like running from the cops, shooting at the cops, I was going, what in the world? Like, I don't know if I knew that, and I just, like, put it away somewhere, you know, because I didn't want to think about it. But I was like, are you kidding me? And then to hear you say you were addicted to that feeling and how scared you, like, I'm sitting here and I'm because you were 14.
mm-hmm.
This 14-year-old kid who ain't got no driver's license, probably don't know how to drive a car, and you're in, like, another city because you went to the beach, you went to Galveston,
Right.
then you went to San Antonio, and you're running from the police, and you're hearing, you said you're hearing this ping, ping, and you didn't know what it was, and you realize you're being shot at. I cannot imagine being 14 years old, being shot at, driving down a highway, and getting done with that and being like, let's do it again. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get that.
It was the
crazy.
day when that all happened, and I spent some time in a juvenile detention. The next day, I was at it again. After my release, I was at it again.
For
At
that,
young
for
of
that,
age.
hi-
Mm-hmm.
for that high, for that feeling of that high.
Yes.
And I remember him whenever we first started using that he compared the feeling he got from using meth to the feeling it was running from the cops. I remember him comparing those two.
And I felt like, you know, when the first time doing it, that feeling, I was like, you know, I don't have to break the law anymore. That I can just get it
How funny
and be
is that?
fine, you know.
You do realize methamphetamine is
You go
illegal,
try to buy
right?
it somewhere. You know.
Well, you know,
My 7-Eleven don't have that.
In my defense, I thought I could get it over the counter, but I couldn't.
You're so
Um,
funny.
But
We know what you mean. We're giving you a hard time.
so
We
you know,
actually could get some over the counter in Louisiana. It was called bath salts.
Stop this right now.
I'm just saying. You remember?
I have people in Louisiana watching.
Oh, sorry.
You can get it really like that.
Mm-hmm. It's called bath salts.
Yeah.
in
It's called
Louisiana.
bath salts.
Mhm.
You should
We
look
call
up-
that something different.
I don't know
Look
what
up some videos on the internet.
No.
No.
On bath salts, there's some crazy stuff.
I never did.
Wow.
I never did that much, but yeah.
but
I could have been eating people's faces. I'm just
So we
kidding.
talk. So what we do is we come on and we talk about addiction. We talk about any kind of addiction. Talk about food addiction. Talk about meth addiction. All the different things that we've gone through. Alcohol. All of that stuff. And then I think it's cool with Billy coming on because he brings a whole new level of that. Like with as a kid, it was adrenaline addiction and just the high you get from being scared. I guess is that it? From being terrified, having you know, like I mean, I imagine seeing a snake. I know that feeling of seeing a snake. I'm not about that every day. And so I don't, like, adrenaline is usually like.
It's almost like if you think about like the feeling you get watching a scary movie. And
Yeah, I
you're
don't like those either.
"Ooh, it's scary.
Let's do it again. Which one more?
You know?
Yeah.
It's
No.
just the feeling.
Yeah, I don't like
It's
scary
just a
movies
feeling.
either. I'm a big old chicken.
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
good.
some
That's
people
good
like
because ain't no telling what I'd have been hooked on.
Some people like scary roller coasters and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's
It's
that
that
high.
same feeling. It's like a.
It's
just
like
a
Trey and his concerts.
feeling.
Trey, you watch, it's like you and your concerts. You get that rush, that adrenaline rush.
He's
But
like, don't
being-
compare my concerts to drugs.
you know, to clear it all up, we
Yeah,
could
that stuff
always-
goes on behind stage.
we could
Concerts.
It's a good thing that I'm working an honest program because I would be like, hey, let's all four go out and do it. But
What?
today- but today I'm like, no.
Exactly.
It's
That's
scary.
not the rush I'm looking for.
It's scary to
these
think
days.
about that.
You know, the rush that, like what he's talking about. So this weekend at the bake sale garage sale, and I'm up at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm messaging everyone like, rise and shine. And then I get there, and there are 3 other ladies already there waiting on us to get there to open the door.
Because they want to shop.
No.
Oh, to
'cause
work.
They're there to
Okay,
help.
okay, good.
And then within 10 minutes, that whole building is filled with people there to help, and they're just carrying out. Okay, Skylar, now what? Okay, Skylar, now what? Okay, what do you want us to do? What do you, you
It's
know?
because
And
you're Cruella DeVille and they scared of you.
No,
Y'all
they're
are
not.
scared. Y'all
No.
admit it. Somebody get on here to admit you're scared of
No, they're not. I mean, it was amazing. They all just jumped in, and I'm like, yeah, over there this way, over there that way, over there. That was my high.
See, so
That
but
was my
look, think
high
about
that
that.
day.
No, think about that. How you traded that for that,
Any day.
and how your mission is to show people that you can have fun and
Yes.
sobriety because you're always a party all the time. Wherever you are, it's got to be fun. And if it's not, you're gonna make sure it is before you leave. And so to be able to, and I love that because people are. It's contagious. I'm sure people are wanting to be around you doing whatever you're doing.
It was a lot of work, but again, I'd trade that day for any day.
Okay,
It was beautiful.
And we've talked. First of all, thank y'all for being willing to share your story, being willing to, because it can get. I mean, there are people dealing with some stuff, and we sit here and we laugh about it, but it's not funny what your life was, where you came from, or whatever. But the fact that y'all are here and somebody can say, "Man, I'm in that right now," you know, and know that there's a way out. Know that there's hope for that they're going to be okay getting out. That there's a different way. But we have talked about how y'all do have the different days because you weren't ready, and how you felt, he messed up, that was all on him. Like, I want to know, and he's Boo. Like, we got Billy Joe and Boo, and this is Snooty Booty, but, that's just the way it is. And I'm Sis. When you were knowing that you had to get sober, knowing that you had to go through, knowing you had to go through this program, I don't know if in your mind you thought you were going to get sober, but you knew you had to go to the program or you were going to go to jail or you were going to do whatever. So you knew that you had to do something. And then what was it like for you to spend that week sober and her not be? Or know that, like, I'm doing this and maybe she's not going to do this with me. Like, what was that feeling like?
Okay. So, when I got into the trouble and I knew I was about to get sent away, they offered a program for me. My intentions was not to get sober. My intentions were I didn't want to go to jail that day, and I was going to, and I wanted to get out so I can, feed my addiction until they caught up with me because I'm a runner.
I've seen you run a time or two.
So I just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Well, so going through that, that week, it was a struggle. It really was. I couldn't work. I was the job, the company I worked for, the owner. He knew the situation I was in. He knew that what I had to do to get clean. So he was lenient on me. He would work me for a few hours, and then till I gradually got it back. The funny thing is, like with Skylar and me, when I quit, we had probably a couple of days in us, and I knew Skylar was not ready. I wasn't ready, but I knew the struggle where Skylar was coming from, and I told her, you need to do it one more time.
You did.
Yes.
What is wrong with you? I'm just kidding. I'm not judging that.
And because she wasn't, I feel like she wasn't where I was at, where I was done, completely done. And she had just a little, she had to quit on her own and not being when I quit it.
So with that being said, that was, how a lot of times people say, remember your first drunk and your last drunk, or remember your first time using and your last time using. So I remember my first time ever using, and I remember my last time ever using. And that last time I used was the most miserable I had ever been. And all of my whole years since 18 years old, the very last day I used was the worst.
Is that because
I felt guilty. I felt sick. I felt nauseous. I felt like it was wrong. I couldn't enjoy it. I was miserable. And I was like, okay.
You ruined it for me.
I was, I was like, okay. I guess now I'm done.
So what would you have done if she wouldn't have quit with you? Like what? Like did you have a plan in place? Did you? I mean, because at some point you had to have thought in your head she's never going to quit. Like, was there a plan?
Right. You know, it's hard to say it today because of the love that I have for her. But you have to understand that in addiction, there was no love. We were at each other's throat.
Mm-hmm.
We were fighting constantly every day. So when I said enough was enough, and I can honestly say if she would not have quit, I would have to do something alternative. I would have to get away from the situation.
Get away from her. Mm-hmm.
Right. You know, but I'm glad that, you know, me getting sober is one thing, but see, Skylar did not have to get sober.
Right.
She did it because of me. You know, she goes through everything that I go through. You know, whatever I have to do, she's there. She supports me 100%. You know, and most people don't do that. You know, so that shows where the love really does come in. You know, it's because I can tell you if.
Quit trying to make me cry on camera. I ain't got time to be crying. I already cried once this week.
You know, if it was
She's
just
so
me
tough.
going into this and her just, you know, us not using, you know, her doing her thing, but not being a part of what I'm going through, I don't think it would be this great. You know, she stepped up and she was like, we're in this together, and we just went from there, and it's been an amazing journey for both of us. You know, we're very active in the, you know, with the community. You know, as far as, you know, telling our stories, and
Yeah.
and me, I've only got 13 months, almost 14 months sober, and my main thing is to help others out. You know, if I see a sick person, if I see somebody struggling through it, I latch on to them and let them know that they don't have to go through this addiction by themselves, because it's hard to get out of it alone.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. You have to relate to somebody. Somebody has to be there to hold your hand, that's witnessed that type of living to pull you out of it.
Yes.
You know? And you
Yeah.
know, I can honestly say that today, helping people out is the most joyful thing that I ever had in my life.
I love that.
Because if I stay sober and clean and I don't give it to the next person, what good am I doing here?
Amen to that. That's awesome. So now
Good stuff.
you owe Santa up there. So we've done addiction together too, because you introduced me to Jack in the Box Ultimate Cheeseburger. Mercy, y'all had an Ultimate Cheeseburger?
Sourdough
Is it with the bacon?
Ooh.
They got that. Yeah, they got it with bacon.
So
Them
yeah.
egg rolls.
So we would, that's what we would do. We would date we would date at the dollar menu, which is not the Ultimate Cheeseburger. That was a treat. That was a rare treat. But we would date at the dollar menu. Whenever kids would go to sleep, that's all we could do. We just go roll through the drive-through. So we did the fourth meal. That's why Taco Bell has fourth meal. It's our fault that there's now fourth meal. And so the weight just stacked on. But so whenever I made the decision, which was 10 years ago today. Today's my 10-year anniversary of making the decision to take control of my health. Whenever I made that decision, that was my decision to make. So how did you feel? Like, did you feel any kind of way?
Me?
Yeah.
No, because I was still picking up the Little Caesars pizza.
The thin crust.
They didn't have the thin crust back then. No, because what you say, even part of your story is whenever you made the decision to start First Fitness, you didn't make the decision to eat First Fitness right away.
Mm.
We were still doing
Still struggled, yeah.
we were still doing the Little Caesars pizza,
Mm-hmm.
and the living situation that we were in at that time, that was part of it because it was only $5.
$5.
And there was all of us in the house.
Yeah.
It was us and
Whatever family was with us at that
yeah,
moment.
yeah. And,
Sometimes it was you. Sometimes it was somebody else.
and then you kept on doing it. You kept on taking the products and then and then you just kind of
Transition.
transitioned into the healthy eating,
Mm-hmm.
and I just watched.
That's not true.
Me and the kids just ate whatever,
Well, that
and
did
then,
happen a lot.
Yeah. And then like whenever you was having to travel with your dad, whenever he was sick, right at that time, and we couldn't afford it, 'cause it's like whenever you got your first boost kit, you shared it because you couldn't afford one for yourself.
Yeah.
So and there was no way we were going to afford one for me too.
Yeah.
And then the work situation got a little bit better, with my pay and all. So and then that helped. But like one thing I say whenever I started working in Arlington, I was living up there during the week and come home on the weekends.
And you said I was unsupervised.
And so now I found myself alone and unsupervised. And there's a Chinese food restaurant right down the road that would bring it to me every night. I wouldn't even have to leave the house.
We almost got divorced over a honey bun wrapper.
Yeah.
It was an ugly sight. Ugly sight, y'all. Ugly.
She was coming up there. They were coming to spend the weekend with me, and then she found a honey bun wrapper on the floor.
I would have, y'all.
At least it wasn't a crack
I
bag.
would have rather found something belonging to a lady.
Stop it.
Yes, than to have found that. That is exactly how I felt in that moment. I would have rather found lipstick on a collar.
Stop it.
Yes,
Well,
a
at
high
first-
heel shoe.
Before
Anything.
I got the apartment, I was living in one of those extended stay hotels. It was cheap. It was ragged. But it had a fridge and a stove in there, stove top, microwave. And she came up there one day. She goes, "Why in the hell is there bacon in your refrigerator?" And I was like, "Because I want to eat.
I want to eat bacon." That's what he said. I want to eat. So he was mean. I'm sure it was because the nagging wife. But I had this thing where it's like, if I'm doing this, you're supposed to be doing this with me. Like you're supposed to be on board with me. And I was angry that he wasn't, which is stupid because he's a food addict.
Right.
Which I was too. But it's like, if I'm doing it, you should be able to do it. Which is unfair. And it took me a long time and a lot of people helping me to see.
That's why she asked Billy, "Well, how did you take it?" So
Yeah.
that's what she was comparing. She was
Yes.
comparing. No, Billy was supposed to be mad at her.
And that's the thing, in order for it to work,
Thank you, Miss Connie.
you
I love
have
you.
to be willing and ready for yourself. Can't nobody make you do anything,
Yes.
Excuse me. I have a question for you, Billy. I've seen, last few months, I've been watching you, and how is it like from a couple of months to now? Because I've seen a good change, a dramatic change in you.
Mm-hmm.
From going from, not working the First Fitness
Mhm.
to now working it. you know, and seeing the results, how, you know, taking that transition, how
It was. I mean, it was just the decision to do it. You know, and you know, I know it was time. You know, I mean, I've lost a lot of weight. Um, you know, I lost over 100 pounds while I was living in Arlington by myself, unsupervised. You know, lost that, and then quit that job, came back here, and was gonna go to work for myself. Right, and all these big plans. I was gonna make good money and go work for myself. 6 months later, I can't walk, and you know, so now I'm here with no insurance, no health care, no nothing, you know, and I can't work anymore. And so then, well, during that time I was like, forget it, you know, and this then the depression comes, and you know, the bad habits come back, you know, the honey bun and the bacon, and all that comes back, and then the pain pills, and you know, and all of that goes along with it. You know, being on pain pills for years is not a good program at all. Well, then finally I get some help with the surgery, but the surgeon says you got to drop 100 pounds, and
He says again, I got to do it again.
so so I did. I started working on it. It took me a while to get started, and you know, and then finally I decided that, you know,
And it was
the
slower
only
because you were
way-
bedridden for so much of that.
the only way I was going to be able to get surgery is to lose this weight. And well, I lost 124 pounds that time. And then I have the surgery, and I have both hips replaced a couple of months apart, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go play football again, you know. And but you know, and then the wound from the last surgery heals, and I'm still having to walk with my walker, and you know, or my cane, you know, short distance around the house. And I'm mad, and I'm like, okay, I did all of this, I did everything I was supposed to do, and now I still can't walk, and you know, that was pretty upsetting, but you know, so then I go back into this, you know, this woe is me thing, because you know, it's like this recovery is not how it's supposed to be, and later on that year, I start working as Santa Claus. You know, that was a lot of fun, and it was also a lot of candy canes
And cookies.
and Christmas cookies. Yes.
When a baby gives you a cookie, you got to eat a
you
cookie.
know, I mean, because every kid around the world left me cookies. You know, every one of them. I can't be rude and at least leave them there. And so I get done.
Definitely
with
don't want to bring them home.
And then the next year, you know, and that just kind of kicked off the bad habits again. You know, getting back on sugar and getting back on eating, you know, stupid crap. And so for the next year, I just kept it up, you know, and I ended up putting back the whole 124 pounds that I lost. And you know, probably even a little bit more than that. In January this year, I decided, you know, I'm putting the cane down. I'm still walking with a cane everywhere in January, and I put it down and just started, you know, making myself do it. Got a job delivering auto parts, and today, you know, 6 months later, I'm walking, you know, I'm still walking kind of like Briley says, kind of like a clock, you know, tick tock, tick tock.
That's messed up.
But I'm walking 100% better,
Yeah.
and you know, and that was like the first decision to put the cane down and to make myself do it. And then I was using the job as a kind of a rehab, forced rehab, because I was gonna have to hustle to keep my job, you know, and had a couple of evaluations since then, and the manager was like, "Hey, we are so glad we hired you." You know, it's like, you know, they don't want me to go anywhere. They, you know, it's like, you know, whatever it is, just, you know, anything.
Because you
you
got to have
need,
fun
let us
everywhere you
know.
are, and everybody wants to be with you.
You know, when you said,
We have
you
that in
know, you
common.
gained that 100 and something pounds back, you know, once you lost it, then you gained it back, you know, that was devastating for
Mhm.
you. And, you know, it's just like, you know, methamphetamines, you know, he went out, he was doing great, and then he got into a situation and gained it back. And as you see him today, he's getting back on track. You know, he was the fortunate one to come back on it, you know, get back on to the weight loss.
Mhm.
You know, and it's just like alcohol and drugs. You know, you do good and you start seeing a good, you know, you start seeing something good in yourself. Good things are happening.
Yeah.
But one little thing can trigger it, and then you go back out and use,
Right.
you know, and it's like,
You gain a lot of ground, you know, just, I mean, and all of a sudden life kicks you.
Yeah.
and it hurts,
You know.
and then it, you know, it's to the point to where you don't want to try again. But that's where, you know, you have to come back and pull yourself back to it. You know, just like, you know, methamphetamines, when you go out there and you relapse, it's hard to go and face reality again because you're so down on yourself. You're so hurt. You don't, you know, you start feeling like you don't care about anything anymore. So, you know,
And it's kind of the same too, putting the weight back on. You don't want to be around the people that saw you lose 124 pounds.
right.
You know, I don't want none of them. I don't want nobody to see me now. You know, and it's like it's hard to come back to that. You know, around the people that saw you be successful, and I could see that being the same way. You know, if something happens and an addict relapses, you know, and then you make another decision to come clean, you know, to get clean and get straight, you know, who do you go to? Who do you go to then? If that drive is like, I don't want to be around them, that they saw me, you know, they saw me clean, and now here I am, and I gotta say my sober date now is like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap, I can't do that. You know.
You know that.
Where do you go?
I can totally relate to that too because you know Billy and I are so competitive. Like in everything we do, we're very competitive. And there was a point in time where I thought about using way more than he did. Like him, like he was done, he's done, right? And there was times where, you know, I would have dreams, you know, or I would just be like, man, I sure could use today. Or like, you know, when I struggle with my weight, I'm like, you know, I know how to drop a few 50 pounds in a couple weeks. But it's and it's not like, and just like with your First Fitness family, you know, they love you no matter what.
He learned that in Mexico.
You know, they love you no matter what. They accept you back in, and that's just like my family also. Like if I fall, they're gonna love me and accept me back in. But the difference is right now I'm at this point where I have to be an example.
Yes.
And
because you're on a mission. You're on a mission now.
And
Right.
that's important to me. Now I have a
And
mission.
that goes with what we're doing too. You know,
Yeah.
we got a 90-day weight loss challenge. We got a 30-day that started today. You know,
And that's all you.
There are
That
people
is all you.
that are following me in this 30-day. You know,
That's separate than the 90 day.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
But that's
And,
him because he wanted to do it, and it's amazing that on my 10th anniversary, it's like he's like I'm all in now.
Wow.
It took 10 years. I mean, he's done it, but he's not done it for himself.
Yeah.
He did it for, you know, I don't even know why you did it in Arlington. I guess to get in the 100-pound club. Maybe you were just trying to make me shut your wife up. I don't know. The second time.
No, that was a goal. And there was a guy there that was, what do they call that other program? What was that? Nutri or something, was it?
Nutrisystem?
No, not Nutrisystem.
Herbalife.
Herbalife, that's
Okay.
what it was.
That's right.
There was a guy there that was Herbalife. And he
Oh,
was,
so you were
So
doing.
he was always promoting. this,
Oh,
you know,
y'all were competing.
Got
there.
it.
And,
But then the
so-
second time, you lost it for the purpose of having surgery.
Yes.
And now you have a goal for yourself.
Right.
That's great.
And so
Right.
it's
And,
like,
and you know, there was a guy that I met. You know, being Santa Claus, you meet a whole lot of other Santa Clauses. Okay, so it's unreal. The Facebook groups, the people that get together. You know, there's like have these meetings for dinner or whatever. Well, there's this guy.
I'm
There's
the
this
better
guy that
Santa.
I met that was a Santa Claus in Mexico,
Oh wow.
and he was Papa Noel. And no, he said he had some guys that worked with him. Whenever he started losing weight, they started calling him Flaco Santa, Santa Flaco, which is skinny Santa, right?
Oh.
And I
yes.
said, you know, and I'm like, okay, I'm tired of being Santa Gordo.
That's
I
awesome.
want to be Flaco
My
Santa, you know.
That's funny.
You
Oh.
know, and you think about you know, and we were trained from whenever we were kids, you know, watching that
So
Rudolph
that
the
was-
Red-Nosed Reindeer special every year, you know, whenever Santa was skinny,
Mhm.
and Mrs. Claus was like, eat,
Eat.
eat.
I
Nobody
don't
wants
do
a
that.
skinny Santa.
I say
you know?
we can have a skinny Santa. That's what this Mrs. Claus said.
That's funny. That's awesome.
And you know, like in the beginning,
I gotta plug my phone.
Like-
Sorry, guys.
so
Go ahead, babe.
earlier, you know, when I said, you know, I like, you know, I feel like my mission is to help other people
Mhm.
out. You know, I also I realized that I have to be careful with that as well because, you know, I have a friend and I see myself in him, you know, in my using day, and it's like, dude, I want you to grasp this. You see where I came from. I want you to have it, you know. And he's like, I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing it. You know, you came a long way, and he wants it, you know. And I step a little bit further, you know, further towards him to help him out. But when I was doing that, I put Scholar in a situation that I didn't realize I was doing. You know, even though I feel like it's my job to try to help the next person out, I also got to be aware of my surroundings, because at that time, she told me, she says, I understand what you're doing, but she was not ready.
So you can be around people who are using, or like you can be around the substance.
He
Yes,
can.
I can be around it. I could, if somebody's around me and I know that it's bothering them. Yes, I can be around it.
And you
without it
can't, because you'll
affecting-
tackle them and take it from them.
That is correct.
And
So
so
I remember months ago, like several months ago, when you were early on, so you were still working with guys that were using,
yes,
you know, and that had to be tough.
Yeah.
It-
know?
you know, like I said, when I said I was done, I was done.
Minute.
You know, because I
Oh, sorry.
felt like
And they respected you for that too, and they left you alone.
right. So being around the
taking over
people
our
that do it, you know, at work, I just, you know, it irritates me sometimes because of the work ethic that they do. But then I have to understand, you know, I once was like that. You know, what takes you 14 hours, what took me 14 hours at that time, today it only takes 30 minutes. So when I got people for taking 14
And
hours,
see, now that goes against everything that we know about people on meth, because y'all 100 miles an hour, you know.
you know, so when I see
You're
the
just
people-
never done.
when I see
Just
the
never
people,
done. You're just in circles.
So when the people at work are doing something that is taking them 14 hours, and I'm over here like it should only take 30 minutes, I get frustrated. You know,
And you know why?
And it's not that, you know, being around them, it's not the fact that it makes me want to use, but it's like I like to try to help them out, but you have to understand you can't help a person out if they don't want to be helped.
Yeah.
You know, so
You can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves.
right. So I plant the seed on it, and if they ain't willing to grasp it and grow with it, then I step away from the situation.
But see, like, the thing is, you know, I'm the same way. Like, I'm doing these videos. I'm hoping that people reach out to me wanting help, you know, so I can guide them.
Yeah.
But the deal is like, by the time they get to me, they should already be sober somewhat. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not picking them up while they're high and already, you know, like.
Because you have to protect yourself in that.
I have to.
Is that what you're meaning?
Yes.
Okay. So they have, if you were going to sponsor someone, then they can't be straight off the street. They're going to have to be a little.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't. The only situation I've been put in is with Billy's friend, you know, and I want so badly for him to get it, but I just he knows where to find us, and if he wants to come, he is more than welcome to come, and I will visit with him and sit with him on the porch and talk with him. But as far as like driving to him, picking him up, giving him a ride here, giving him a ride.
You're not
can't
putting
do
yourself in
that.
that situation.
Yeah,
I respect
put
that.
Put you close to that situation.
I respect that
and you
for sure.
recognize that.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and you stay out of it. So that's good.
Yeah, it's
Well,
it's just harder for me. But
I've done a lot. I've done a lot of amazing things. There've been like, I don't know, 7 or 8 people who've come through that I've directly or indirectly helped lose over 100 pounds. Those are huge things. Whole lot of weight loss, whole lot of health transformations. Proud of so many people, but I don't know if I've ever been. And I'm a mom. I've 3 kiddos who've done some pretty awesome things, but I don't know if I've ever been more proud of anyone than I am the 2 of you.
Same.
And I mean, just it's incredible watching this transformation, because I was ready any day for a phone call that you were gone, and so it's just amazing that, and you all did that. I mean, I get that, you had to, but I think I said it last week or something. It's like you needed that to happen because you were ready to get out of it, and it's like that saved you. That saved you from her, and,
making me cry.
Yeah,
So
we went to a funeral for a kid that grew up right down the road.
yeah.
For that same stuff, and that's what we were
Right.
watching.
Yeah.
And it was right at the end. It was right at that point because once I knew that I didn't care if I lived or died, which that's where it brought me to. I did not care if I lived or died. That's how much I hated my life. That's how much I hated using the drug, and I was wanting to get out of it. I wanted to. I was hoping that it would take me.
Yeah.
So it's.
Well, God had bigger plans.
Yeah.
You living today, brother.
And that's what it's all about. It's in my life today, it's all about staying clean, helping other people out, and having a good connection with my higher power, God.
Bam.
And and whenever we're down here in this church on Sundays, and then we hear a pastor standing up at the front, and he'll say, and can we get Billy Worth to close us in prayer? And to hear these brilliant words come out of it, it's just it's awesome.
That real raw prayer.
And and what's crazy is, I'm really not a talker. I don't really like to talk.
we saw
when the pastor asked me to close in prayer, I remember it, and I'm so shaken. It was just like I was trying to beatbox with with the microphone. But my first instinct is to say no. But the program that I'm working today, if I'm asked to do something, and it's to help other people, and it's it's in a good way, I can't say no. And that's why I do that. Even though I'm scared and I can't talk,
keeping on because you're doing it.
and I'm scared to talk, and I'm around people. If somebody's asking me to do something and it can benefit them, then I'm all about it. And I will not say no. I will not reject them because I know what rejection's like, and I would never want nobody to be rejected.
Yeah.
Miss Connie said, Billy, we will get you a fat suit.
There you go. We'll definitely do that, Miss Connie. And Curly is running around outside, keeping kids occupied. We love you guys. We appreciate you all so much. Just listen to us hang out on Monday nights and talk about all things addiction. If you need help with your weight loss, health, anything to do to transform your health, you know, just reach out to me. Or Billy, you know, more than happy to, you know, share with you what we offer with First Fitness and see if we're a fit for you. And certainly if you are struggling with addiction and you need some help, these two over here, they can certainly get you hooked up where you need to be. And we've been blessed to be able to already see some fruit from this video, changing lives in that direction of getting sober. And so that's amazing. And so y'all have anything else?
No, I'm so glad they got to join us.
I guess we're going to have them back. They're popular.
Yeah. Jeez, that was great.
We'll see y'all next Monday night.
Bye. Have a great week. That was great. Lisa said.